Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get you the latest breaking news updates, let's tell you that both Indian Navy and the Pakistan Navies are holding live firing exercises off the coast of Gujarat as we speak. And let's tell you more about that. As we war game the entire scenario, my colleague Shawan is also joining us live on the broadcast. He's in the Republic War Room. I'm going across to Shawan right now. Shawan, over to you. He's with some of India's foremost defense experts joining us in our War Room on Republic TV. Shawan, over to you. Go ahead, Shawan. Go ahead.
Well, Niranjan, back in our war room, the key discussion, the breaking news that has come in just a short while back was with regards to the military deal that has been signed. Now, with the Navy carrying out the exercises, and you have a deal that has been signed with the United States of America, $131 million, a clear signal that is being sent out that this time there is a different front that has opened up.
Yes, Indian Navy is always ready for its offensive posturing. And now in the present scenario, carrying out the exercises at sea is important to give our posturing to the adversaries.
But Captain, this is not very far away from where the military drill is happening as far as Pakistan is concerned. Help us understand that very area and what is the message that we are basically sending across, because this is not very far from Gwadar. This is not very far from the strategic ports of Pakistan. How do you help us? How do you make
yes,
the most of this particular exercise?
Yes, Arabian Sea, North Arabian Sea is the sensitive area presently, and the Makran coast, which is having a port of Karachi and Gwadar now, these ports are important for us, and we have our own way to look at these ports for requirement of choking the sea lanes of communication in case of requirement. So when we talk about high sea, when we talk about the freedom of navigation, all the ships are at liberty to move around, and beyond 200 nautical mile and within the 200 nautical mile of exclusive economic zone as per UNCLOS 1982, all the ships can carry out operations. That's why we have a brush fire kind of things which happens on land, where we touch very close to each other, our aircraft fly close to each other, and which is happening in South China Sea very regularly. So you can see the same scenario happening in North Arabian Sea now, where we have the ships carrying out drill in very close proximity. We have our own set up norms. We maintain our, we exercise caution, but there are chances that we can go beyond. So therefore, the Indian Navy would be extremely cautious about the posturing, at the same time giving the right message.
Well, in fact, Niranjan, there's also breaking news now coming in with regards to the alerts that have been issued by the Navy. However, the alert is with regards to the firing range in that area and for the mariners to pass through. So these alerts have been put out. Group Captain Devnath, if I can take this question with you. With regards to the Air Force now, preparations are underway. They've been extremely secretive and rightfully so. Having said that, where do you see the Air Force really playing a role right now? Given the fact that one role we have already played during Balakot, but how does that really change?
Oh yes, in case of any exigency, Air Force is tasked with air defense of skies over India. Similarly, during any skirmish, we have to ensure that the sky over army positions and naval positions are also clear of any enemy aircraft interference. In addition,
but Pakistan today is saying that they are basically fighting the Rafales which are coming very close. They are saying Rafales are coming very close. Is this some sort of a ghost narrative that Pakistan is building now?
Oh yes, Pakistan, their Air Force is building up a narrative. Let me tell you what happens. During war or during period before war, Indian Air Force flies sorties along the border. Main aim of flying these sorties is to see preparedness of Pakistan Air Force interceptor aircraft. So we intentionally fly sometimes next to international border, like in this case these Rafales, thereby triggering a response from Pakistan Air Force. And we know, we calibrate and we record it. The open source. Our airborne electronic warfare aircraft also flies there. They record that how much time Pakistan Air Force took to respond, which aircraft came, and most importantly, what type of formation or what type of tactics they were employing to threaten our aircraft.
Colonel Shailendra, moving on to what's really happening with the ceasefire violations that have taken place. Interestingly, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to point out here, this time, Pakistan has also targeted the international border. Now, many say that this is a little different, keeping in mind there was a ceasefire agreement that was already signed, and in a way it's an act of war. The ceasefire violations that we're really looking at least at the international border. Why is it different? Why is it significant?
Jai Hind, Namaskar, Shravan. I can only tell you one thing. When Pakistan says that there is an act of war, then that's their right.
Right.
It is only India which has been tolerant, who has not been treating a ceasefire violation as an act
Colonel,
of war.
help us understand, why is it rare? It is rare, and it is an important message that we are sending across. Is Pakistan trying to draw us to this war?
If you have to very specifically ask me that, then I can only tell you that Pakistan narrative right now is in the world to convey that there is a likelihood of war which is coming from India.
Okay.
They want us to aggressive. They want us to be aggressive.
So you're saying
now.
they are trying to draw us?
Yes, they are definitely instigating us. They are trying their best that yes, they are the aggrieved party without realizing that they stand actually today exposed. Ceasefire को cross करना या उसको disrupt करना, मेरे ख्याल जनरल कुलकर्णी ज़्यादा अच्छा बताएंगे because it's a very strategic item. But at my level, let me tell you one thing. East, West, I don't know which is the best, but only best thing which my regiment is doing there is give a bloody befitting reply, give them such a reply, if you fire one round, I'll fire 100 rounds.
General Kulkarni, a war veteran here, and thank you very much, General Kulkarni, for taking out the time and coming to us, being a part of Republic Newsroom to understand the defense strategy. I want to ask you this question. It's a very significant development that has taken place in the last 48 hours. You're looking at several ceasefire violations. These are not normal ceasefire violations. Let's not forget, in the past, Pakistan has sent across their tanks. They wanted to draw us. There have been military history that basically indicates that Pakistan would want us to respond. What do you make, number one, of the ceasefire violation that took place yesterday at the international border? Is there a strong messaging that is coming across that we are reading into?
Thank you, Niranjan. At the very outset, I must thank you for inviting me. And I'm thoroughly impressed by the studio that you have. Lovely. Now, coming to the question of why the ceasefire violations are taking place. After the Indus Water Treaty that we held in abeyance, the Pakistanis said that the similar agreement does not hold, and therefore no ceasefire agreements are holding. You find Pakistan has all along after that, after 2021, since the ceasefire agreement was in place, there is no ceasefire agreement, and therefore Pakistan wants to continuously be firing. First, because of the jittery.
Okay.
Very scared, very jittery now, because they seem to be making kind of statements that India is going to attack them in the next 24 hours, 36 hours.
Okay.
Some of them feel that India is going to, nuke them, or they are trying to tell them that we are going to nuke India. They're trying to tell us that they have missiles and they have Hataf and they have Ghaznis and they're going to, to do all that. So this is border fear. But the retaliation by India has been so strong that you find most of the posts have been vacated by the Pakistani all along the LOC. So that's the first indication. It's not now, it is normally not so much of firing is done. But this is primarily because Pakistan is now rattled, scared, doesn't know what to do, and therefore it's more of like, trying to raise their own morale by pushing in as much of artillery, fire as much. Most of it is small arms. Most of it is
small arms.
Yeah.
So, sir, why not thoko them nice and proper?
Yeah.
Well, if they are wanting this, let us have this.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
they are only going to understand this language, that okay, fire is the answer, let's thoko them nice and proper. Well, because if the sanctity is not there for them, then well, why am I holding back?
With you, it's free for all, what
Yeah.
Shailendra wants to say. It's absolutely free for all, because if there is no similar agreement, if there's nothing to be held, then the question... See, all these options are there, definitely. We are not saying.
Right.
But would best be left to the people on ground to decide as to when they would want to use
this,
them.
of course, there are a lot of speculations that are doing the round, but our military, unlike what happens in Pakistan, in fact, General Kulkarni, let me share this, also Colonel Shailendra, let me share this. Just about a few days ago, you've had the Pakistani soldiers who are basically moving towards the LOC, putting out videos of their own artillery movement. So, of course, we are not getting into that. General Kulkarni, let me also get a quick response from you with regards to the way India can actually respond. I'm given to understand there are plans that are already underway. Having said that, particularly in northern Kashmir, what we have seen that India wants to send across a strong message as far as the ceasefire violations are concerned. Probably that's step one of the big picture that may come up in the next few days.
See, ceasefire violations definitely are not tolerable. That is why you've had officer of the rank of brigadier from our side speak to the DGMO's office on the other side.
Right.
So there are this thing to be able to tell Pakistan in no certain terms that should this be carrying on, then the retaliations will be
What
harder.
happens in the DGMO? Just to give us an understanding, in the DGMO level talk, which happens regularly, which I'm given to understand every Tuesday that it takes place, how is it different in a situation like this?
Right now, since there is nothing, no Simla agreement, no LOC, I would
Right.
call it now the ex-LOC, and we carry on going back to the Karachi agreement because that is what is in vogue. But notwithstanding and ensuring that the Simla agreement, at least on paper, would be there for terms of LOC is concerned, the DGMOs invariably under normal circumstances would talk amongst themselves to see that if somebody stayed across, if this firing is there, which generally does stop. But in this particular case, you've not had the DGMO speak. You've had an officer of the rank of brigadier speak to them to be able to tell them and convey them in non-certain terms that this is not acceptable. You would get it back, like what Shailendra said, you would get it back very badly. And therefore, if that is under...
They are allowed to speak any number of times. It's not specified to only a Tuesday or Wednesday. At the moment the Indian Army feels, it is able to ring up and tell them that this is the excess you are doing and face the consequences.
Group Captain, let me also bring back the Air Force. The focus on the Air Force. Air Force has been extremely discreet over the last few days, particularly in the action mode that they are getting into. Many would really want to understand from you, is there a possibility that the Navy and the Army basically coordinate in terms of a dual attack? A dual attack, is that a possibility?
Oh yes, definitely. Whenever there is a war, commanders at strategic level, say at Army Chief, Naval Chief, Air Force Chief, will definitely like that Pakistan's resources are stretched. So probably an exercise and subsequently will culminate like that only, wherein Navy overwhelms their Karachi and Gwadar port, blockades them so that no
So you are
commercial
suggesting
ship...
tri-services?
Oh yeah. And
See, we are like
Army...
We are always like this.
Army
So
will
there is a-
engage them across LOC in J&K, and Indian Air Force will ensure that skies over Pakistan airspace are dominated by us, so that
this
they
would
do
be
not
perhaps
have
for the first time, if at all this is a
freedom of
military option.
mobility.
Not the first time.
Air Force will ensure that their resources do not move within Pakistan. If they try and move any resources through land, through civilian hired truck, or through railways within Pakistan, and if it comes to our notice, Air Force notice, will blow their supply ships, will blow their railway racks. Most importantly, will blow up their convoys, which are taking logistic supplies to the battlefield.
Okay, Captain, let me also take you through the developments that have taken place in the Navy. And interestingly, the drill that is actually happening right now, it's barely few nautical miles that you're really looking at. And if I remember correctly, this has not really happened in the recent past. If I'm not wrong, we have not seen this happening perhaps in the last few years itself. What do you really make of it?
It's not so exactly. I am an aircraft carrier pilot myself and have been on the operations, and I had seen enough. As a warship captain, I have experienced these issues a lot. Many times we have Pakistani ships coming close by. We have a Shadow X, we have our PTI aircraft, we have our Dorniers, we have our ships, which go around and actually makes them go away from our area of interest. So this exercise is basically posturing. You like to throw your assets at sea to show them what you have. In actual case, suppose your aircrafts are flying, your MiG-29s are operational, your MH-60 helicopters are dunking, anti-defense, air defense, anti-submarine screen, anti-submarine, multi-axis threat defense. All these formations are at sea and they are showing their might. if the adversaries are around, they will see it. They will know your capabilities, what you are going to actually do. And one more thing I would like to tell you. You see, India has banned the merchant ships of Pakistani to come to the Indian harbors. Now, this is a very important issue. We are not only exercising in North Arabian Sea. We have our eyes on Gulf of Hormuz. We have our eyes on the Bab al-Mandeb. We have eyes on this, the Sundra Strait. Because the sea lanes of communication needs to be, our submarines would be around. We would be on deterrence patrol. We have SSBN. So look at those things which are surprise move. They will maneuver at the right opportunity, at the right target. So Navy is exercising and doing its job.
Well, gentlemen, there's also another interesting thing that is actually happening, and my colleague Niranjan is going to get us the latest details. In fact, Pakistan, like usual, has been imploding. This time, there is a partial coup, and I'm going to explain this. What's the partial coup that we are really talking about in Pakistan? Over to you, Niranjan.
Shravan, the breaking news update that came in is of the partial coup wherein the ISI, the Pakistan ISI has now completely taken over. The Pakistan Army Chief, Asim Munir, has ensured that his favorite ISI chief, Lieutenant General Asim Malik, has also taken charge as the NSA, which means ISI chief now has a dual role in Pakistan. ISI chief also becomes the NSA, and along with the Pakistan Army Chief, Asim Munir, they call the shots in Pakistan. Shehbaz Sharif has been sidelined completely. I'm handing it over to you, Shravan. If you can take this question with Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni on what this means, the partial coup, Shravan.
Well, in fact, that's an interesting point.
You can take it to him.
It's an effective coup, if I may say so. I'll get that mic for you. It's an effective coup. The reason why I'm saying we are using this word effective coup is because you have the Pakistan ISI chief doubling up the role. This has not happened. Does that indicate that there is a clear divide between the civilian government and the Pakistani army, and the fact that Pakistani army is once again trying to strengthen their base here?
Probably, Niranjan, I think the chief of the army staff of the Pakistan army has lost trust and faith of his own people. Reportedly, about 250 odd officers have almost put in their papers. There were 2,000 to 3,000 men have put in their papers. You find along the LOC, people are running back. They're bringing down the Pakistani flags and going back. Indicative that this Hafiz Munir seems to be having difficulty with his own people. And why the DGISI has been made the national security advisor is because he's the one who actually brought in Sheikh Hasina, because he was the one tasked to make sure that Sheikh Hasina is overthrown, and that someone of their choice, because it was ISI that was playing a big role. And the Munir himself is an ex-DGISI who was responsible for Pulwama. So therefore, he feels that his own man over there, and whatever has got to be done. Reportedly, even I understand that their chief is also missing. He's not there, almost missing in action for the last about a week or so. He's not on the social media. There's no account of his, and nobody knows what he's doing. So there is a likely coup that may have taken place, or some kind of a misunderstanding or a hatred towards him, because he was also not considered a very stable general, and that Nawaz Sharif himself was not very
comfortable with
this man.
Colonel Shailendra, can I then ask you, what's really happening? Because why was he so desperate? Because one, the man who created this entire Pulwama episode, the man who right from the beginning, we are given to understand it is General Asif Munir who created this entire plan as far as Pulwama is concerned. And the fact that he wanted to bring back, keep the pot boiling as far as Kashmir is concerned. And that's the reason why this has happened. But where is he losing out right now? Is he losing out?
Shravan, I'll request you, I take objection to calling him journal, because he's no more a journal. He's a Maulana, he's a mullah.
Because of his radical,
the way, no,
the closest, no, it's a fact. It's a fact.
Pakistanis who are saying,
and he has had the most radical teachings, and the fact that he has his entire family, entire lineage.
I don't mind his lineage. What I'm trying to say is there is a parliamentarian of Pakistan who has said that he will be giving the azan next time.
He has, if I'm not wrong, as far as my information goes, every verses of that he has recited, and that the very fact that he has his entire family part of the entire the Islamic culture. But having said that, it's the radical Islamic culture that he has basically
so sirf ab azan dena hi reh gaya tha na. So now parliament is saying, that lady is saying, Khan, that, and she's the wife of a ex-ISI, by the way, and she has openly said that he's the next man to give the azan now.
Right.
I think there's an indicator available in a parliament. Now coming to the coup, that silent coup which is already on. Why is he not visible? Why is he not in action?
So
Why
who's in charge now?
Huh?
Who's in charge?
Oh, he's doing it from background. Obviously, that bunker which is underground. You know why?
Okay. Got
Because
it.
he has been advised. And when we are analyzing about the silent coup, why he's not seen with the government? Why is he not seen in the committees?
That's an
Why is he not in the cabinet committee of security? Why is he not visible anywhere?
That's a very interesting point, Niranjan. Colonel Shardinda makes a very interesting point. Not a single photograph. In fact, if I'm not wrong, the Pakistan Prime Minister had put out a photograph, but he's not there, if I'm not wrong. Or he's
Yes.
there.
He was there in that parade of the
Okay,
officers, the candidate.
correct.
That was
After that's the last picture.
6 days back.
6 days back. 6 days back, Niranjan, you've had the Pakistani army chief being seen in public, and thereafter he's completely disappeared.
Thank you for that, Shawan. Taking a short break here on Republic TV, we are coming back to you with some more breaking news updates. There are some very, very fast-paced developments. At the Atari Wagah border, Pakistan is telling Pakistanis, we don't want you back. Reminded us of 1999, and you just saw what happened there. The army coup report of what Musharraf did, reminder of 1999. And you look at how Pakistan is not taking back Pakistanis. Takes us back to the Kargil war when they refused to take back bodies of their own soldiers. Back with that report, stay tuned.